You don't need security when it comes to funding firms. You don't need to think about sustainability. All you need is discounts, the highest possible profit split, and you'll be absolutely fine. Said no one ever. Now look at what is happening in the prop firm world. I understand that you are frustrated, pissed off, probably a little bit annoyed at the fact that you might have a payout pending and you're looking at all of the drama that's going on thinking, now what do I do? I warned you about this type of stuff months and months ago. You've got to start thinking about security. This is why with our funding, we prepared for the longevity. Not here today, gone tomorrow. So if you're someone right now that is quite stressed about who do I actually trust now, this video is for you. You're gonna wanna pay attention. If you miss the information that we're gonna cover in this episode, then more for you.
Guys, absolute shambles what's happening in the industry. And you know what? We called a lot of this a year ago. Not just us, but a lot of people called this. A lot of people with common sense. Yet we just sat there, participated in the circus, and now a lot of people are being caught with their pants down, unfortunately.
When the tide goes out, you see who's really swimming naked. And if you actually had plans from the long run and you thought about long-term infrastructure, you wouldn't be in this position. Well, I'm going to be covering a few things that I think all traders out there right now need to be thinking about. If you generally want to be a long-term trader and have a long-term career without all this constant drama happening to you, you need to pay attention. I'm going to give you some really valuable advice that I hope gets through to you, because if it does, you stand the best possible chance.
You know, the thing that is the most alarming to me is how people have got such a short memory. Same things happened 6 months ago with the big fund, right? They've completely forgotten, jumped ship to other firms that are offering the exact same conditions and prop and everything. Now what's happened today with TFT, you know, potentially ceasing operations, the exact model that they were offering, someone else was offering with percentages off assessments, and people are just jumping ship to the next one. The social media celebrities are promoting the next thing now, and then the people are jumping to that, completely blind to what's going on. And for me to see that, I'm just like, are people that stupid that just keep falling for the same scam time and time again and they don't learn? And I think that's the big problem here, is the consumers, the traders are the part of the problem, because they are now jumping to the next thing. Someone else has got something, they'll go down in 6 months and then someone else will go up.
Do you know why that's spot on? Because when the the consumer's not all to blame, but it is a race to the bottom. Like, remember what we was talking about when it was 90% profit split, then 95% profit split, then something else, then it was this discount, then it was this type of condition. Like, when all of the consumers are constantly going to the next firm, they've got to outcompete with each other. And they're not trying to compete because they've tried to build it with the trader's success in mind. They're just competing with another firm of like, right, this firm's offering this, so we have to compete with them and offer same day payout. It just becomes like the bookies, it just becomes gambling. So that's why we're in this position. Like, it was never going to last, and we knew that anyway, because if you think about it, it's been what, 5 years since we originally had the idea to want to start to build the fund, and it's been 3 years building the fund, and we've successfully accomplished every sin that we set out to do. And I think I know our traders are in good hands, so these things don't bother me at all. What bothers me is that our traders will also have capital with those funds, and unfortunately those people will be affected because they had payouts waiting and stuff. Like, we can't control that. We can only control what we can control, but I'm hoping people can start to appreciate what they actually have with what we set up. Before we get any further into this episode, make sure you are subscribed to the Market Brief. It is our free weekly newsletter. Every single Monday morning, you will get free weekly analysis delivered straight to your inbox. A few minutes a day and you'll be up to date with the financial markets. Links are in the description to subscribe to the Market Brief. If you think about it, it's been what, 5 years since we originally had the idea to want to start to build the fund. And it's been 3 years building the fund. And we've successfully accomplished every sin that we set out to do. And I think I know our traders are in good hands, so these things don't bother me at all. What bothers me is that our traders will also have capital with those funds, and unfortunately those people will be affected because they had payouts waiting and stuff. Like, we can't control that. We can only control what we can control, but I'm hoping people can start to appreciate what they actually have with what we set up.
And a lot of these funds are not even funds, they're essentially a network marketing. Like, look at this here, for example, Mark, this is a fund, right? What's on their stories? Affiliate benefits.
Right.
So this is, so I don't want to sort of badmouth people, but this is a well-known fund in the US. And the thing on the story is you get up to 20% commission, lifetime commission, your cookie tracks for 1 year. they're not selling me on why I should be part of the fund, but it's why I should sell the fund.
Yeah, so zero longevity.
Yeah, so what we have here is a network marketing pyramid scheme run by network marketers who claim to be funded traders or know about funding, and no wonder why we're in these shambles, because when the thing collapses, when all the money goes, when all the network marketers dry up, and you have to pay people out hundreds of thousands, the whole thing collapses. And that's what we're seeing now with TFD, and we're going to see with more and more funds. So unless people wake up and they change their habits and they start backing the right horses, these kind of funds will keep propping up, they'll keep making money, and they'll go under, and you'll blame it again, and you'll carry on this whole cycle time and time again. So I think it's time for people to wake up and realize, what is it that I want from trading, and what is it that I'm willing to take in terms of responsibility.
Abdu, so that video that you just put in Coach's Corner, phenomenal. Breaking that all down, how the prop firms are run versus our fund. I think that's given people a lot of clarity as on the complete differences, because people often compare what's the difference, and they're always looking for the cheaper assessment. With what's happening in the prop firm space with the recent stuff today, what is your thoughts on what is going to happen next? Because this has affected a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, this is when you kind of go through a part of an industry where it restructures itself. If I had to guess, I think evaluations are going to get harder for people, because a lot of firms have realized over the last couple of years that they can't copy a lot of these trades, because people are coming in from every direction and they're doing all these trades, from gambling, over risking, under risking, doing whatever in the shortest period of time. And that's the problem when you make cheap assessments, you give flash promos, you lower profit targets, you increase drawdown, you give all best liquidity conditions, you're like, hey, everything great for the trader. But the second the liquidity runs out from a revenue point of view, you can't pay out and the whole business falls. But then now we're in the reality where people are questioning, are they even going to get a payout? And, pending payouts and funded accounts, they're likely gone. And it's sad, but that's what happens when something good is way over abused. And now we go into the other parts where, depending on who you are and what you've done over the last couple of years, you'll adapt. Like, I know for our traders, we're actually perfectly fine. Like, we're not shocked by this. Sad, sure, but not shocked. Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely do feel for the people that are affected. It's like, this is not one of these moments where it's I told you so, even though we did, because there's no gain for it. It actually just creates more negativity in the industry. But what I do hope to share a light in it, which is what I think we should talk about, and I'll talk about some influencers, so to speak, a little bit later in this, that I think people need to just be aware of, or who they're auditing first. But you said something really, really important, and I'm going to bring this over to you, Ibi, right? Because we've spoken about how many calls have we done on a Friday for years now, every single Friday. And what's interesting is I was having this conversation about trading's already a difficult enough skill as it is. So the hard part you work on, and you have certain stresses which you understand as a trader, right? I need to learn how to become profitable. I need to learn how to manage my emotions. You're kind of aware as to, if I conquer this, I'm doing well. Prop firms come along, give you an opportunity, which was great. It was phenomenal for a long period of time. Now the worry is what you just said. Even if I do well, I'm almost anxious that I'm going to wake up to a random tweet. Some other influencer has gone to another prop firm. They're now talking about this one. And then it's a race to the bottom of assessments of this one's cheaper, you can access this capital. And I don't actually think about it from that perspective. Ibi, what's your thoughts on all of this?
I mean, I had my first experience with this in, I believe it was March, April 2021. I won't mention the prop firm's name, they're still around. But I scaled my account up to $320,000 with them. And this is at the time when they were using a slightly slower model in comparison to today. So it was the whole 10, 40, 80, 160, the whole double up process. Got to 320K and had a EuroCAD position short. And I was literally like 4.9 or 4.8% away from the next scale up. And I forgot to put a stop loss in my position that day, and my account's terminated the next morning. So got an email saying account termination, and there's nothing I could have done about it. So that was my first experience with something similar to this back then. So my opinion on all this is the following, that if people haven't already realized the importance of having security, whether that's with personal capital, whether that's with trying to network or get out there with people so you can have an investor, maybe, who knows, like go old school on it. These things are very, very good and they stood the test of time. They should be more proactive with stuff like that, as opposed to trying to find the next best prop firm out there and the cheapest way or the quickest way to get to six figures, because you don't just buy that title, you have to earn that title, you have to trade your way up to that, and I think everyone's learned the same lesson here, that security is very important, not just speed of acquiring capital.
This is our weekly call, going through on the fund, going through it. I mean, we didn't come on here to go over this because this just happened, so this is kind of stuff we have to address. However, there's some other things that people don't use simple logic, right? Apply common sense. There are now education companies, so to speak, that are creating their own prop firms. under their own system, but an actual prop firm in the sense of they're creating them based off of banking on people that are going to lose. So think about that. Imagine being a student and you haven't put two and two together, that you're now learning from someone who has a prop firm that would greatly benefit from you not making money, and you'll keep buying assessments. So they've basically said, they don't realize, this is when people haven't got a brain cells that create these things, they don't realize they've just told all of their students, our edge is a load of shit because I'm going to teach you and you're going to keep giving me assessments and make money. Where what we've got is people that have their accounts for over 2 years, over a year, consistently getting paid out, getting to the next level. We wouldn't allow, oh, God forbid, anyone tried to say, look, Mark, I'm on my 8th assessment. That's not how, I wouldn't let them in. I'd be like, for their own well-being, because we actually care about people doing well. Ib, what are you thinking?
Just so many things on multiple levels, mate. Failures from, I think when you assess it, and obviously this is a slight different call to what we usually have. We usually go over our fund and data and we discuss some of the innovations, but you can't ignore what's happening in the industry. And when I look at big firms that have collapsed in the last 6 months, it's just been greed, right? Has been at the heart of it, wanting to make more money, and then the environment that they're in with the US, banning MT5 and stuff and losing income. Has just been a topple-down effect. And then when you look at it on the influencer level, you've got influencers that are literally selling affiliate programs to prop firms and making money from it. And then you look at the consumer level that are greedy, they're paying people to do it. The whole thing is an absolute shit show, right? And I'm glad amongst all of this nonsense that we're there and we've stood true to what we've been doing for the last 3 years, 5 years that we've been in the process of getting up this prop firm up and running, but 3 years of running it, and we've not once swayed from that. And I'm glad and I'm proud to say I'm part of this team, and the work that we're going to be doing this year in 2024 and making it more available to non-Falcon students is going to shine through even more when we do, and we're going to have more successful students, and we're going to do big meetups. So it's a bittersweet moment because a lot of people have lost a lot of money, right? And that's never a good thing. But in terms of the sweet moment, then obviously people are going to now start going towards more sustainable prop firms that are being run by actual traders and not affiliate marketers and people running pyramid schemes.
All jokes aside of all of the silly people in the industry that are not doing the right things, this is bound to happen. You get cowboys, you get people that are serious. If I was someone right now who I'm a non-Falcon trader, I want access to the in-house fund. It's simple routes for you. You're either in Rewide because we can bet your mindset, and we kindly, in March, allowed you for the lowest possible barrier to entry, that if you are in as a Falcon member, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, a year, you can access the fund without having to wait 6 months. So if you want to continue to sit on the sidelines and hope, that's your prerogative. Do whatever you want to do. But we thought it was our duty of care, and we could kind of see this type of thing coming. But we told people about this at the beginning of March when things started. So it's nothing of surprise or it's a shock, and it's only when these things happen you realise, I wish I prioritised the right things that we've been saying for years and years and years. So if you can do that and you can just take it as, look, got to brush it off, it is what it is. You might have a payout pending, you can't get it. I understand, bit annoying. However, there is a plan, and you can't allow something like this to just derail your whole year. Because you'll go, oh, this happened, like this will be the excuse. You'll get to the end of the year and it'll be because this happened, you lost money, etc., etc. You stopped trading for a month because you got depressed about it. Like whatever it is, you're going to use this as a reason not to succeed. And there's too good of an opportunity this year to make money to let these things derail you. The biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is start to plan for your future correctly. Like if I was a trader right now thinking, with all this stuff is going on, what do I actually do? Well, number one, you have two options. You either become part of our community. I'm going to speak really frank with you. You have an opportunity. If you are a Falcon member, you don't need to stress about nothing because everything is figured out for you. If you're someone who is trading a different strategy and you're really, really successful, you still can trade on our fund because we encourage that. We're thinking about the longevity of the fund, so we can't have everybody trading the same system. This is why we're going to have specialist divisions. So you're either a Rewide member or you are a member in March. Like we've given you that opportunity to be able to still access our fund. That's why we opened it up. I didn't know about this happening at the start of March, but my instincts told me something is not quite right. And it's just come quicker than what I thought, essentially. I didn't know specific firms, oh, this is gonna happen to this. I didn't know that, but I just used my instincts and thought, most of these people with their verbiage, all of the discounts, just how they're setting it up doesn't really look like they're caring about traders' longevity. It just doesn't, because I have a fund, so I know how to set one up. So I understand what it looks like to think about a wider picture. We set things up for the traders for the longevity of their trading career. We've done that from day one. I don't know what else to tell you, right? I'm here for the long run. If that resonates with you, we are of course always looking for committed, motivated people to add value to the community. But if you're here just to gamify things, I mean, keep doing what you're doing. But guess what? You're not going to be here in a few years from now. You will disappear, you'll give up on trading, and you'll look back and think, I could have joined somewhere where people are actually professional and serious about their business.